Stop what you are doing right now, because if you or someone you love depends on a Social Security check, the next few minutes could change how you plan the rest of your year. This is not a rumor from a stranger online. This is not a chain email your neighbor forwarded you. This is what is actually happening with your benefits right now, today, and I am going to walk you through every dollar, every date, and every rule. So you are not the last person in your family to find out. Somewhere between the mailbox and the bank, millions of seniors are about to see changes in their checks, their taxes, and their health care costs, and most of them have no idea it is coming. If you have ever felt like the government makes these announcements in a language designed to confuse you, stay with me, because today we are cutting through all of it in plain, simple English. Let's start with the date that ties this whole story together, July 7th. Exactly 1 year ago, on July 7th, 2025, the Social Security Administration hit a milestone that most people still do not know happened. They finished sending out more than 3.1 million payments, totaling $17 billion, to Americans affected by something called the Social Security Fairness Act, and they did it 5 months ahead of schedule. Think about that for a second. A federal agency moving faster than it promised, putting real money back into the pockets of retired teachers, firefighters, police officers, postal workers, and their spouses. If you or your husband or wife spent even part of a career in a public job with a pension, a job where you did not pay into Social Security the whole time, this story is about you. And if you have not checked your account yet, you need to before you finish watching. For decades, two rules called the windfall elimination provision and the government pension offset quietly cut into the Social Security checks of people who also received a pension from non-covered work. Some spouses and widows had their entire spousal or survivor benefit wiped out to zero because of this rule. Zero. After a lifetime of paying in through other jobs, after marriages and decades of building a life together, some widows were told they would get nothing extra from their late husband's Social Security record because of a pension they earned serving their community. That injustice sat on the books for years while lawmakers argued about it. Then, on January 5th, 2025, the Social Security Fairness Act was signed into law, and it wiped both of those provisions off the books for good, retroactive, all the way back to January 2024. So what does that mean in real dollars? According to the Social Security Administration's own numbers, most people affected by this law saw their monthly checks rise somewhere between $300 and $1,000 a month permanently. On top of that ongoing increase, the average retroactive lump sum payment, the make-up money for the months you were shortchanged, came out to around $6,710 per person. Picture opening your bank statement and seeing a deposit like that land all at once, money you were always owed but never received. That is not a stimulus check. That is not a one-time gift from Washington. That is your own money, finally being paid the way it always should have been. If your household includes anyone who worked as a teacher, a state or local government employee, a federal worker under the old civil service retirement system, or someone who spent time working under a foreign Social Security system, stop and ask yourself right now whether you have ever looked into this. If you have not applied and you think you might qualify, the clock on retroactivity does not wait forever, and every month you delay is a month of back pay you may never recover. Now, let's talk about what is happening to every single Social Security recipient in the country this year, not just the public pension group. Every year around this time, seniors start asking the same nervous question, Will my check go up enough to keep up with the price of groceries, gas, and medicine? For 2026, the answer came in at a 2.8% cost of living adjustment. That raised the average retirement benefit by about $56 a month. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. $56 does not sound like a headline, and you are right to feel that way, because for a lot of families, it barely covers a few days of expenses. But here is the part almost nobody is talking about, and this is where the story gets interesting. That cost of living increase is not the only change hitting your check this year. There is a second piece of good news buried in the tax code that could matter even more to your wallet, and it has nothing to do with the annual adjustment everyone already expects. Starting with tax year 2025 and running through 2028, seniors 65 and older can now claim an extra $6,000 deduction on their federal taxes. If you are married and both spouses qualify, that climbs to $12,000 off your taxable income. This was written into the law signed on July 4th, 2025, and it was designed specifically to ease the tax burden on the kind of income seniors actually rely on, including Social Security. Now, I have to be honest with you because you deserve the truth and not just the exciting headline. This deduction does not mean every senior suddenly pays zero tax on their Social Security benefits. Up to 85% of your benefits can still be taxable depending on your total income, and this new deduction phases out once your income passes $75,000 for an individual, or $150,000 for a married couple filing jointly. But for millions of retirees who fall under those limits, this deduction is real money staying in your pocket instead of going to the IRS, and it is worth sitting down with your tax return or a trusted tax preparer before you file next year, because the size of the benefit depends entirely on your personal numbers. Let's move to something that affects literally every single person who receives a Social Security or SSI payment this month. And this one is about timing, not dollars, but if you do not know it is coming, it can throw off your budget in a way that feels like a shock. Independence Day fell on a Saturday this year, which pushed the federal holiday observance to Friday, July 3rd. Because of that shift, if you are someone who normally receives your payment on the 3rd of the month, either because you started receiving benefits before May 1997, or because you received both Social Security and SSI, your payment moved up to Thursday, July 2nd instead. That is not a delay. That is actually your money arriving early. But here is the twist that catches people off guard every single year. If you receive SSI, you are getting paid twice this month. Your regular July SSI payment arrived on July 1st, and because August 1st falls on a Saturday this year, your August SSI payment is being sent early too, arriving on July 31st. I need you to hear this clearly. That second deposit at the end of July is not a bonus. It is not extra money from the government. It is your August payment showing up a few days sooner than usual, and it has to stretch to cover your bills at the beginning of August when there will be no new deposit. Seniors who do not realize this sometimes spend that early payment thinking it is a windfall and then find themselves short when the calendar flips to August. Please, if you take one practical tip away from this video, let it be that one, because it protects real people from real financial stress every single year around this time. There is one more update this July that could matter enormously to your health and your wallet, and it involves Medicare. Starting July 1st, 2026, the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services officially launched a new program capping the cost of certain weight loss and cardiovascular medications, the kind known as GLP-1 drugs, at $50 a month for people enrolled in Medicare Part D. For years, federal law blocked Medicare from covering medications prescribed purely for weight loss. But this new update provides a significant relief for those managing these health conditions, which left seniors managing serious health risks paying enormous out-of-pocket prices for treatments that could genuinely change their quality of life. This new bridge program changes that picture for eligible enrollees, and it runs from July 1st, 2026 through the end of 2027. If your doctor has ever mentioned one of these medications for weight management or related heart health concerns, now is the moment to call your Part D plan and ask directly whether you qualify under this new pricing structure, because this is exactly the kind of update that saves families real money every single month if you know to ask about it. Now, before you go, let's talk about the bigger picture, because I promised you honesty, not just excitement. Yes, there is good news this year: the cost of living adjustment, the new senior deduction, the Fairness Act payments, the Medicare Savings Program. But there are also things every senior should keep in the back of their mind. The Social Security Trust Fund still has a projected shortfall on the horizon, with current estimates pointing toward the year 2032 if Congress does not act. That does not mean checks stop coming, because payroll taxes alone would still cover roughly 78% of scheduled benefits, even if nothing changes before then. But it does mean this conversation is not over. And it is exactly why staying informed, rather than waiting for someone else to tell you what happened after the fact, matters so much. And please, as you share this information with your parents, your grandparents, your neighbors, remind them of one more thing. Scammers know that payment dates, tax deductions, and benefit news create the perfect opportunity to prey on trusting people. If anyone calls claiming your payment is suspended, that your direct deposit needs urgent verification, or that you must act immediately or lose your benefits, hang up. No real government agency will ever demand a gift card, a wire transfer, or cryptocurrency to protect your Social Security. The real Social Security Administration will never pressure you like that, and knowing that fact alone can protect you from losing money. To people who count on seniors not knowing the truth. So here is where we land. If you have a public pension and never checked whether the Fairness Act applies to you, do it this week. If you are over 65 and filing your taxes, ask about the new $6,000 deduction before you assume it does not apply to you. If today's video helped you, hit that subscribe button for more updates that put real money back into your life. See you soon.